So I want to speak on an important subject. And if this is the absolute truth, just what would it mean to you in your life? I'm talking about a concept that has been around for just over 100 years, and it's called Eternalism. In thinking about an afterlife, a Christian believes in heaven. Many people believe in reincarnation. An atheist believes in eternal non-existence after death. But this concept of eternalism is that we are always alive somewhere in time. The mistake that I believe is that people always want to take a choice. I am me, or we are the universe. It's A theory of time or B theory of time. I view it as both, because science is coming to a way of understanding, or coming to a better understanding of adapting consciousness into the paradigm of the belief system. And so A theory of time, coming from classical Newtonian physics, is what has been called the arrow of time. You seem to be moving in a direction. Stephen Hawking, for example, talked about the origin of Earth, the second law of thermodynamics. Philosophers talk about an eternal now moment. So the past was the now, the present time is the now, the future that you perceive moves into the present, and you perceive more future. So time is basically a measurement of change. And this, of course, invokes the concept of time travel. We see this in the movies where they play out these unprovable theories. But the idea of time travel into the future is a very plausible one. And it gives you a picture of the oddity in time. And so Einstein, in relativity, spoke about how time could be different for two people. And his theories have been tested. They continuously test the speed of light, the oddity in time. They take atomic clocks. One person goes in an airplane, and the other person is on Earth, and they notice that there's a change. Even when an astronaut goes into outer space, when they return, they have time traveled into the future. But the concept that we see in the movies, that a spaceman goes into a rocket, and he travels near the speed of light. And when you do this, you would time travel into the future. But the interesting part of this is, let's say that Rocket Man travels at the speed of light, and here you are down on Earth, and you take a powerful telescope and you look at him, you would see that he looks frozen, because time has slowed down for him. And also, objects for him appear smaller. So this is a pretty interesting way. People talk about snapshots or the frames of a film, whereas I'm going to suggest in a way that it's actually both. And this comes from B theory of time, which is called block universe, where Einstein shows this picture, and it all exists all at once. So this concept of the dualistic way of viewing the world, we have Descartes, who spoke of the soul, the separation of a human being and a soul. We have the mathematics of the universe seem to be dualistic. The Big Bang, although slightly curved, has been shown to be flat. We live in a two-dimensional universe. We do not know why we live in three dimensions. People talk about a hologram. So we experience this three-dimensional universe, and Einstein got us to think of time as a dimension. The next step is to realize that mind is the self-realization of the dimension that we're in. You have to take consciousness into account because of its effects on the subatomic world. The act of taking a measurement changes these experiments. And I believe that the answer is that it is to be viewed as two. So in other words, many people, like I say, take a choice that I am me, or I am the universe, but how I see it is a person from their own subjective experience. You're living your whole life inside your own mind. It doesn't matter how many other people are outside you. I think that the other people are kind of important too. Now, if we look at the Earth and think of it, let's say you're the only person on Earth, and what we'll do is we'll take all the other perspectives and we'll view that far away. So there's 2 points of perspective here. It's dualistic. And the same thing with this concept of A theory of time and B theory of time. Eternalism is the idea that everything exists all at once, including your future. So now when a person hears this, they say, well, does that mean I do not have free will? This is the idea of determinism. And once again, I have a point of view of 2 perspectives. So I feel that it is your actions, your karma, that drew you to the point that you are in now, or will be in the future. But in a sense, you're everywhere all at once. And the stranger idea is the past. Let's say here you are on planet Earth, and you die today. But yet, from a faraway perspective, at a particular angle, God, an alien, can always view you in the past, in some sense still existing. And so you would have to consider what this means. This opens the channel for many theories. Many people favor other worlds, that this is another version of you. I personally like more of the idea of consciousness being a fundamental aspect to you right here. That you exist, like the self that I said, in a theory of time, which is what feels like linear time. You see yourself getting older. But from an outside perspective, you still exist. People want this justification system. They want there to be some type of cosmic justice. They say, live a good life and you'll get your reward by going to a heaven. That serial killer, you're going to hell. A person doing something wrong, your karma will get you. But what if this idea that your existence is eternal, forever and ever? It is something to really contemplate and reflect on. Because it is very possible that this idea can only mean that you and I are all that ever was, all that ever is, and all that will ever be. And the great cosmic universe is our witness.